Welcome to the Wonder Jam cast.
So official.
You always laugh when I do that.
It reminds me of
I'm welcoming people to it.
It reminds me of YouTube where they're like, "Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel." And they wave.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
Before you keep watching.
Please write a review.
No, you don't review YouTube videos.
Really?
You just have really mean comments.
Like and subscribe. Subscribe and like.
Yep.
And then podcasts are subscribe and review.
If you want to see more of these videos, just hit the like button and subscribe.
Somewhere someone's listening to this being like, this is not a video.
They're like, what is this? Today we're going to be talking to Vanessa Wade.
And she is a designer.
She is.
And a friend.
True.
And a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she
has a dog. And she's married. And she lives in San Diego. I won't give her address out because that's probably not very polite.
Yeah. You're not supposed to do that.
I met Vanessa on the internet probably, I would say 5 years ago. And every time we go out to San Diego, we visit her and her husband, which is always really fun.
Yeah. And
it was awesome to talk to her because she specifically has, I think when I think of how we've essentially taken our design careers, she's found the type of style and clients that she works really well with.
Yeah.
And right now is juggling working full time, having a baby. And it was really awesome to talk to her and not only hear how she got started, which we knew a little bit about, but to see what she's working through now.
Yeah, and to find where she gets a majority of her clients, how she doesn't focus on competition or how she doesn't see it as competition. Yeah. She actually gets a lot of her work from other designers, which is wild.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I would say this episode would be even really encouraging for those who might have invested time and money into learning or going to school for something completely different than what you want to do now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You're not alone.
She spent a decent amount of money going to school, which is not what she's doing now.
Oh, spoiler.
Oh, spoiler.
I was trying to make it mysterious.
Maybe producer Michael will bleep out in that, and so people will just be like...
That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, let's do that. So you'll find out what kind of school she actually goes to.
If you keep listening.
Also... Vanessa is your twin in celebrity obsessions. Yeah. So we kind of get deep into that. So
yeah, she and I text often about different celebrity headlines and celebrity endorsed products or celebrity produced products. So we're very on the same level when it comes to that.
Yeah. So if you listen to this podcast a lot in the past or any of the previous episodes, we try to cover celebrity headlines because. Yeah. I don't know. That's important.
But let's just say we've just been doing it so that ultimately we could ask Vanessa. Yeah. And she and I could just talk about it.
It's the ultimate.
Yeah.
So.
If you want to keep listening to where Vanessa went to school, what she's up to now, and some more celebrity headlines, keep on listening.
And here we are with Vanessa.
So,
hello.
I think I first want you to talk about Vanessa,
Well, I want people to get a visual feeling for this. So, one, Allie and I are sitting in Columbus, Ohio.
Hold on.
And Vanessa is sitting in... Are you in the studio with us right now?
No. I am not.
Where are you at?
I am sitting in my office in San Diego.
It's way better than Columbus, Ohio.
I know. And it's 80 degrees today.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's super warm.
I feel though
the
difference is it's 90 here and it's humid. It feels like it's raining is just floating in the air, which is gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted people to at least be able to understand
where she is. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about, did you study design, Vanessa? Because you're a designer, right?
Right.
What did you study?
We're leading these questions.
I actually went to school for baking and pastry. I don't know. It's a long story, but basically I was going through this phase when my boyfriend at the time, now husband, Aaron, he was in school for graphic design, and I was kind of just like floating, like had no idea what I was doing, just like every other week changing my career path. And just one day I had like, so random, I had made a cake, and I was like, maybe like culinary school is my thing.
Yeah.
And Aaron, like, I think at this point Aaron had gotten so sick of me like changing my career path like every other week that he was like, okay,
let's do it.
Like, you're gonna go to the Art Institute tomorrow and you're gonna sign up for classes, and that's it. And I was
so
like,
funny.
Oh my goodness.
Probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
That is so funny. Wait, I mean, not that I'm laughing at the worst decision you've ever made, but I think probably a lot of people can feel that way about, like, whether it's just traditional college or, like, they make a move to a new city and they're like, this probably wasn't the best decision.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I feel like I should have just taken some time away from school to just figure that out, because I just like jumped right into culinary school. I did that for a couple years, and then while I was in school though, I was blogging, and so I was like teaching myself how to like take photographs and do graphic design for like all of my blog posts, and so it kind of just evolved, and I was able to like lean on Aaron too, because he was going to school for graphic design. So
true. So you had someone like that was in it, maybe like as you were going through school yourself, like he was like focused on the same thing. Yeah.
So, I graduated from culinary school. I worked at the Wynn as a pastry chef for a little while, and the whole time though I was just miserable. Like, I loved making like cakes, like specialty cakes with like fondant, and so that was really fun for me, but I didn't get to do that at the Wynn. It was more like production work, like on your feet. You're on your feet for like 10 hours a day.
Oh my gosh, probably start really early.
Yeah.
Well, did you go to school in Vegas then? Is that where you went to school?
Yeah. Okay. Aaron and I like both grew up in Reno, and then we moved to Vegas shortly after meeting.
Okay.
Moved to Vegas, went to school for 4 years, and then we moved to San Diego 5 years ago.
Okay. So then like jump us through like being at the Wynn, being in Vegas, to starting your own design studio. Like what was that process like? And like how much time was in between all of it? Like, was it something that you were already freelancing or doing like small jobs while juggling this other full-time job, or was it very like separate?
So I was doing like small freelance projects here and there, like blog headers at the time while I was working at the Wynn. And then I knew that I wanted to be a designer. So Aaron actually got a job out in San Diego, and I was like, okay, this is going to be my shift. Like, I'm not going to go back to baking and pastry. I'll pick up a job doing whatever in San Diego, and like, I'm going to build up my portfolio until I can land a job somewhere being a designer. Okay. So, we moved to San Diego. I worked at a photography studio for a while, just building up my portfolio on the side. Yeah. It was like, we're so broke. Yeah. And then one night I like went to pick up Aaron. He was playing foosball somewhere, and one of the guys there was an art director at this agency, and just randomly he was like, oh, let me see your work.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, yeah. And I was like totally caught off guard. I was so nervous because I've never had anyone like really critique my work or anything. Right. And he just looked through it and he was like, hey, yeah, can you come by the agency on Monday? And I was like,
Oh, man.
Okay.
Did you know that, like, was it going to be a meeting, or was it like a, like, pretty sure it was going to work out?
I think I knew it was an interview.
Okay.
So it was like a Friday night when that happened, and I spent the entire weekend just like building up my portfolio, like, taking photos of my work, like creating mock-ups, like just making sure everything was perfect for that interview on Monday.
Yeah.
And I actually brought like a batch of cupcakes.
That's
to
amazing.
The interview.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
like cheating. You're like, by the way, I know how to make these professionally.
Side note, if anybody ever interviews here, and you're listening to this now, bring gifts.
Food.
Yeah.
So I got the job, and it was like a junior graphic design position.
Okay.
And I worked there for a couple years. The main client I worked on was the Mirage in Las Vegas. Oh, cool. So it was like I could not escape Vegas.
You can't get out of it. They're like, we're following you to San Diego.
Yeah. So did that for a couple years, and then I had reached a point where I was just like really unhappy with the work I was doing for them, and like I just didn't feel like I was growing. And I had learned, like I had gotten a lot of hands-on experience while I was working there. Yeah. And then for I want to say like 6 months or so, I would come home and just vent to Aaron, like, oh my God, I just want to quit my job. Like, I just want to be working for myself. Yeah. Like, I just want this so bad. And then one day, one of those nights I came home from work, and I had like landed a pretty big freelance project. It was for a writer. She wanted me to do her branding and her website. And I had just been like looking forward to working on that, and I vented to Aaron again, like about how much I wanted to quit my job. And then out of nowhere, he was just like, just do it. And he had never told me that before. And I was like,
in the context of like making sort of a risky move versus like just figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah. Like it was always just like, oh, we'll figure out like how to make that happen someday. But like, this was the first time he had actually like given me the push, like you can just do it. So I actually, I like cried so hard because like,
like you so probably,
scared.
And you felt it like that shift within you, but to get that sort of, I think like affirmation is like equally empowering and scary.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. I think so much of one of the hardest things I think about doing your own thing is that it's really easy to work at a lot of places and for other people and complain about the limitations that you have, whether that's in your job or in whatever. And then as soon as it's you, it's just your fault. Yeah. You know, it's if you don't like your clients, you're the one who decided to work with them. If you don't like whatever, it's your fault. And you have to deal with all of that. And it's a insanely different pressure.
It was terrifying. So I went in the next day to the agency. I gave my notice. I actually gave them like a month's notice because our director was out of town. So I was like, I'll leave in like a month and I'll give you guys time. Like we can train a new designer. Like I'm here for you guys. So, and then that weekend I went and I sold my car.
Oh my gosh. You're like, I don't plan on needing to commute anymore, so I'm good.
I'm going nowhere.
So I sold my car just so I had some savings to like lean on over the next like few months. And it was crazy though, because I like put like $5,000 in my savings, and every time I needed to use that money, like I would just replenish it every time like I got a freelance client. Like I'd put the deposit in there, so I always made sure like I had money to just lean on in case like it just didn't work out or in case I failed.
Was there anyone who told you to do that? I mean, not everybody we talk to does that.
Yeah.
Like, why was that important to you?
just because I had bills to pay, and we kind of added it up, and it was like, it's like my half of the rent at the time, like all of my bills all added up to like $5,000. Like it was just like I needed $5,000 for 3 months to live.
Got it.
Like, and that's just like not including food or anything,
For
but
sure.
like
you could pay your bills and nothing would like get behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just made the jump. It was terrifying. So my last day at my job, I think it was like a Friday. And then that weekend, I want to say I went to Designer Vacay.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
in Palm Springs.
Yeah. So it's a little meetup of other designers. That wasn't my first year, but I want to say that was maybe the third year that it had been like going on. And that was like the first time I feel like I actually was like, I went in just like an open mind, just soaked up everything that they were saying, and just hit the ground running. Like I reached out to some of my old clients to see if they needed any other work. Reached out to other designers to see if they had an overflow of work that
that's a
they
good
could
idea.
just send the client my way. And then
That's amazing. And so I have like a couple follow-up questions because we like to think through.
I have some follow-up questions too.
You do too?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. We'll go every other.
And then Vanessa can judge which one's better.
Oh, great. So I was going to ask you specifically about what kind of work shifted, like from working at the agency full-time. I imagine other people who are creative, whether they're like photographers or writers or designers, are listening to this. Like, what kind of changes did you make from being a part of an agency and doing work that you had to do? Were you open to designing anything when you quit and started your own thing? Or were you like, I want to focus on this or this kind of person? Like, how did your mindset shift? Yeah.
Well, I feel like it was like easy because the work I was doing at the agency was all just like tons of corporate work, just not my style. I'm trying to think how it shifted. Like, I knew that I really enjoyed branding and website design.
Yeah.
So I just tried to focus on that. But I want to say in the first 2 or 3 months, I was taking on anything and everything.
Oh, for sure. You're like, you have to.
Yeah, you have to. And even if I was miserable, I knew that working for myself was what I wanted to do. So I just needed to get through it and move on to the next client until I had enough work that I could just start being picky about my projects.
But you knew that had to grow, I think some people, I remember when I graduated and I studied design, a lot of my peers sort of expected that selectiveness to happen instantly. And I was always very mindful that I needed the experience. I needed to know what I liked working on. And so I think that is always interesting to think through. At the beginning, you might be a lot more open-minded and, willing to work on pretty much anything that comes your way. And then you should slowly start to figure out how you can, become more selective and choosy with who you work with.
Yeah. And I think also, because this whole time that I'm making this transition, I'm blogging. And so having a blog also allowed me to kind of refine my aesthetic and my style. So clients, people would come to me already knowing what my work looked like because I had posted it on my blog and on Instagram. So I didn't have a terrible amount of clients that I hated working on their project, but yeah.
For sure. Adam, what was your question?
My question was, where did you get into art? Where did you develop any kind of eye for creativity or making things look good?
I want to say, I feel like I've always been creative. Like I remember my mom always like pointing out, you know, my drawings and everything when I was younger. But in high school, I actually took a ton of like art classes and ceramics classes.
Okay.
I loved like building things with my hands.
That's cool.
And like making things out of clay. It was so cool. But it kind of just stopped at like after high school. I didn't do anything really creative. And I think because a part of me always felt like, oh, you can't do something creative and make a living off of it.
I feel like so many people think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always thought like, okay, I have to go to school. I have to be a nurse or a teacher or just like literally, I think that's why my career path changed so much before I went to college, because I always thought that like I needed to be doing something not creative.
Yeah. Like something more practical, even though.
Like it has to be boring.
Yeah. I have to hate my job. No.
If you like it, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, for real. Well, my other follow-up is even like the idea that you started off your, like owning your own business, going to designer vacay, probably whether someone actually goes to something like that or not, can be such a fun time to connect with people who have made the same choices you have, you know, with your career.
Oh, yeah.
Or like you see them doing it. Like so many people just don't know it's possible because they've not seen it happen.
And I think inherently when you're working at a full-time job, you're with people who also have chosen to work at a full-time job.
Yeah.
Versus when you get into other settings as an entrepreneur or as you own a business, you start to get around other people who have chosen to own a business. So you can kind of understand a lot of what they're going through, and it's just different. It's easy to feel like when you're at your full-time job that nobody in the world is doing their own thing.
Right.
And then it's easy once you're out of it to be like, oh, this is very possible.
Right.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, if it hadn't been for those relationships that I built at Designer Vacay, like, I feel like I would probably still be stuck at an agency.
Yeah.
Or it probably would have taken me a lot longer, because they, like, really, the friends that I met through there helped me, like, make the leap. And, you know, they send me work all the time and keep me in business.
Yeah. That's what's so cool, I think, about, there's a lot of, like the community here in Columbus, we have something called Creative Babes. And one of the things they like to talk about is like competition is stupid. Like you should collaborate. And the idea that there's enough work for everyone. And we've seen that even with you, like you've referred us work. I've sent people your way.
That was how I like knew who you were. I was like, what the heck is this person from California sending us so much work for?
I was like, she's my internet friend, Adam.
I was like, send that girl some Jennies.
Yeah, I think we sent you ice cream once.
Oh my God.
I think I saw you just ordered some. They're from Columbus.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because I remember like you guys sent us ice cream for me sending you a client, and I was like, oh my gosh, like Allie and Adam sent me ice cream? What?
It was so fun to do.
Possible.
I know. It was like right after they launched like their national like shipping.
Yeah.
And
love it.
Their bakery is right next door to here, like where they make like the cookies that go inside of the ice cream and stuff. And sometimes it smells like Brambleberry Crisp.
Well, they have a thing now that's like churro. So it's like there's some days where it's like churro scented parking lot.
Yeah.
Or Brambleberry Crisp scented parking lot.
We're not complaining. I mean, if you're hungry and you're leaving work, you're like, oh my gosh.
The best thing is they
oh my gosh.
Every once in a while they'll use our studio to do some photo shoots in.
Yeah.
Just for a different location, and
they
end up
leave.
leaving
Do they
behind.
pay an ice cream?
They leave behind like so much ice cream.
They pay in money and ice cream, which I think makes them even
that's
better.
Amazing.
They'll be like, we put a bunch of pints in your freezer, and we're like, this is amazing.
And then we all wait till they leave because we're like have some sense to ourselves.
Yeah. And then we binge eat.
Yeah, and then everybody gets sick immediately.
Not sick because it's like bad for you, but because we eat like
the
a pint.
Quantity
so
that we
much.
Because it's better to just get through the pint. Because if we have it sitting around, we're gonna eat ice
you might
cream
as well
every
eat
day.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question for you, Vanessa, is what were some of the like challenges you found within the first year? Like you sold your car, you're living in relatively a new city. Like what were some of the things that you encountered owning your own business that you didn't think you would face?
Yeah. So naive.
Yep.
I thought that clients would just be trickling in all the time and I would just constantly have like a flow of work.
Yeah.
But like there was a lot of slow months there in like the first year.
Yeah. Oh gosh, we did too.
When I was so stressed out and like Aaron would say like, he would make comments like, maybe you need to go find another job. Like,
and you're like, oh my, you're like, I'm already thinking that in my like deepest, darkest thoughts.
And I kid you not, every day I'd go to this Starbucks for coffee and I can like, Aaron like smacked me out of it, but he was like, I considered applying there and just working as getting a barista like benefits part-time. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Like, so crazy. One thing I really learned was that I needed to have like a solid contract in place. Mm-hmm.
And that was like through bad experiences that you learned that?
Yeah. Nothing that happened to me directly.
Okay.
It happened to a friend of mine, where like the client tried to sue her and it was just like, and it was because her contract like wasn't really very solid. It was like, it was funny because she had the same contract as I did. Like we both like found it online.
Oh, got it.
And, yeah, so it was just like through her bad experience, I realized that like I needed to have a solid contract in place to protect myself and to protect my client.
Yeah.
So,
did you like, I was going to say, did you like seek a lawyer out and like get one? Yeah.
I found a really good lawyer here in San Diego and they're just like, it's, this guy and a girl, Emily and Sam, they're amazing.
Oh, cool. We'll have to link their stuff in the show notes.
Yeah, they were just like, they're just like your friends, but like that you can talk to and get lawyer advice or legal advice. So I think I got a contract drafted through them.
Yeah, I think it's so key to find people who can like relate to your work or how you view. Like how you view your work and not just be like meeting with someone who doesn't understand. Like that's been so huge for us is finding like people who can help us with bookkeeping or like a financial consultant that can speak our language and is like a little bit younger and approachable in their pricing model. I think is even like, you know, that's rare sometimes. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. But yeah, so you said finding clients,
but getting your legal stuff sorted.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in the beginning?
I guess also like having, like, I'm trying to think, what have I changed since I first started? Also like having a media kit, like, and having like canned email responses for people.
I still haven't done that. I am like, I don't know how many times I have told someone I really need to use Gmail's canned templates and like set them up. And I think I just forget about it all the time. And I'm like so mad at myself.
One of our friends, Val, does like a online course that was like become a master of Gmail.
Yeah.
And then she would come in here and work with next to us sometimes and be like, you guys are wasting so much time.
Oh, I didn't even know that Gmail did that.
Yeah. I like still need to do. I think I'm going to like after this podcast recording go and
we need to do like a phone a friend segment of this podcast where Val calls in. We're like, hey, Val, we got like 7 questions.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right now I've just been like saving like a written out email as a draft and then I just copy and paste it into a new email.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of how I always have like fragments of like old emails that I'll just like star in Gmail where I'm like, which is kind of a bad practice because I know it's sometimes apparent when you like copy and paste in Gmail.
Oh, yeah.
So I always like try not to do that. So I'm going to kind of like keep this conversation of like difficulties and things like that. What were some things you found that was really helpful in finding new clients? Like, was it more of that outreach where you were talking about like talking to past clients or, like talking to other designers? Or did you find that like keeping an online presence was pretty key? And have you found any like seasons where you're busier usually, or like seasons of the year that are a little bit slower, or is it just sort of random?
So your first question, I want to say having other design friends that like send clients my way when they're too busy has probably kept me in business.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 design friends that send me clients all the time, and it's honestly, I think it's kept me in business. What was your second question?
Well, wait, I'm going to do a follow-up to that.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Are they emailing you and that person who could be a client like an introduction, or is the new client just contacting you and saying, blah, 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 referred me?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. They're like, they'll shoot me an email through my contact form, like, so-and-so referred me to you. I love your work. Like, so
that's amazing.
I think, and I mean, this is what I do too, is like, if I'm too busy, I'll send the like client 2 or 3 contacts. Okay. And
let them choose almost.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost wonder, so I'm thinking of the listener in mind right now. Like, how do you know you're too busy? Like as a solo, because like I think the thing that's shifted a lot for Adam and I is we have the studio together. We have right now closer to like a team of 5 or 6. And before, when I was freelancing on my own, I just have like a really bad memory of like what my processes were like. So for all the people listening that are like a 1-person team, like it's just them and they're offering services, like how do you gauge your calendar or like your workflow or workload?
Do you even know if you're
to know you're
overbooked or whatever?
Oh.
Do you just trust your gut?
Yeah, I feel like I just like trust my gut. Like I have I use To-Do, the To-Do app.
Yep.
And I have like all of my clients I don't think this is what it's meant to be used for, but I have all of my clients on the bottom of my calendar, and then like everything that I need to finish for every client. And I just like, if it gets way too full, that's how I know. Yeah. I just like, honestly, trust my gut. Yeah. And it's been kind of hard too, because right now, because I have a 5-month-old, I'm
for sure adds a little bit to the schedule.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn how many clients I can take on at a time without it being too overwhelming.
Yeah, I will, and I was going to ask about that later, like even just, being pregnant and then having, your first child, like before, before you definitely noticed like you had way more capacity just based on time, and now you're trying to figure out what like the new normal is basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so hard.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I think I had Emma and was just thinking like, okay, I'm going to go on, maternity leave for 2 or 3 months, and then I'm just going to jump right back into work, and I'm going to be able to do all of like the same amount of work just in between Emma's nap times, and it has been like not working out.
A lot more difficult. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that, because again, like I'm thinking through people who are thinking about any type of life shift, like maybe moving in with their significant other or having a child. How, like, talk us through a little bit about what that's been like, or things that have been really important. Like, have your current clients that you have right now, like, has your process changed at all? Do you allow like more time for projects? I know you have someone watching her right now. Like, how have different like what's new shifts happened? Yeah.
So like I said, I thought that I could work in between nap times.
Mm-hmm.
So now so she's 5 months old now.
Okay.
I went back to work in May.
Okay.
And for a month, I tried just working at home with her.
Okay.
And it wasn't working out. But I have told clients I've made projects longer now, or let them know the timeline is this long.
Yeah.
And I've definitely adjusted that from pre-baby.
Yep.
But now I have my friend actually comes to the house Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3.
Okay.
And that is my solid, I can really hone down on work and focus.
Yeah.
And then I just try to keep up with emails Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
But it's an adjustment still. I feel I need at least 1, maybe 2 more days during the week to try and get
do everything
stuff done.
Yeah. Well, I even remember talking to Lindsay from Made to Thrive. She developed one of the blogs that I designed, and I know you connected us together. Or connected us. You don't connect someone together. You connect us. But I loved how clear, she probably, if she was on this podcast, would be it's not that simple. But I loved how clear and straightforward she was with our client about her work times. She splits time working and spending time with her children, and she's not available 24/7. And I think a lot of, younger entrepreneurs are too available, and they're working so much, and it's not that you, Vanessa, are any less tired. You're probably more tired, but I just think if you implement those policies, your vendors or your partners or your clients respect that, and if they don't, then that probably makes it pretty easy to not work with someone. But from someone who doesn't have children, I was very much oh, cool, so I'll expect to hear from you on this day and not this day. And I was very impressed with and just how everyone was very respectful of it. And I could see a lot of parents who own their own business feeling people won't understand or will scoff at that. But I was if anything, very impressed.
Yeah, and that's funny because I'm texting with Lindsay right now, and I feel awesome. Maybe we should schedule a call so I can get some advice from her.
She
puts her kids in daycare too, which I feel that is probably so helpful.
Yeah.
But two, I let all of my clients know that hey, I have a baby at home. I've been pretty vocal to my clients to let them know, I have a kid at home. I'm still easing into the process. Please, give me some grace.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Well, and I know you, because we're friends, and we visited you in San Diego, and we've talked about work, but you, even from a business model perspective, you don't have to meet with your clients in person or drive across town. Talk a little bit about how your process, even from before having Emma, is set up in a, I don't know, not easy, but it facilitates your life now a little bit more versus having to change a lot of that. Because I know you send a lot of things through email and, don't have to worry about some of that in-person meeting.
Oh, yeah. So I've actually gotten pretty lucky in that, all of my clients have been out of the city, out of town. But I have let my clients know, I have a kid at home. I am available for a 15 to 20 minute call if you need, on, these days that I'm home and I have a nanny. So I've just been a little bit more vocal, but a little stricter on when I work or when I, can talk with clients. I'm hi, I have, I'm available for this call, but I can talk on Tuesday or Thursday between this hour and this hour.
For sure.
Let me know, when is a good time for you.
Yep. And that's where I feel people are very open to that. I used to open my calendar up to every time and, any time and date. And I've played around with a lot of different ways of scheduling my time, but when I was more limited and I decided like, okay, I'm going to meet with people, let's say Tuesday, Thursdays as well, it was really great because, you know, people see your availability and for the most part don't really try, at least I have found, they don't really try to get any time beyond that offering.
I mean, who's going to be like a big enough of a jerk to be like, oh, so you can't meet at Wednesday at 1?
Yeah, a lot of people are...
No, I can't.
Right, or a lot of people are like, oh, cool, well, I can't meet this Tuesday or Thursday, but I can next. And then they're okay with the meeting happening like a week out. I just think I see a lot of people being afraid to implement some of those policies or boundaries for themselves when... I think when you finally do try it, you're like, oh, this was accepted.
And I think on the flip side, it actually, because I've seen a couple of people who are a little more strategic about their life, who do those things to make it seem like they're busy, even though they're like literally could meet any time in the entire world. But they'll be like, hey, I only have time like this day during this thing, and then 2 weeks later, and you're like, that's not true.
Right.
But it makes it seem like meeting with you is valuable.
Right.
Which I think is like a very possible thing to do. The second thing is I think people respect all of that, you know. Like Vanessa, as you've put out more sort of boundaries or not even boundaries, you're just explaining the reality of your time.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Have you had any issues where somebody was like, that doesn't work for me, or I don't want to work with you anymore, or any of that stuff?
No, it's been like really positive.
Good.
Everyone's been pretty understanding. But also I think because a lot of my clients are female too, I feel like they kind of, well, I don't want to say males don't understand, but I feel like they get it.
Yeah.
Like,
or they have a best friend who had to go through the same, you know, the same transition or things like that. I mean, we see that happen a lot, like women who work at a place where maybe their bosses who might be male don't think about maternity policies, you know, like it's not that they're bad people, they're really great people. It's just a little different, especially if they don't have kids.
Oh my gosh, I have a friend whose boss is a male, but he's having his first kid. And so they talked about like, oh, their maternity policies are probably like a little too strict right now. But because the boss is going through, or like the owner is going through like one of his first pregnancies, he's like, oh, that's going to change soon because he's going to understand like how limiting this whole thing is.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, guys, I have to interrupt this whole thing and ask. We have to do a celebrity headline segment.
Vanessa is famously. We've actually talked about this on a previous episode of the podcast.
Have we?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Because Vanessa, and we can retell it.
I don't remember.
We went to visit and hang out with Vanessa and Aaron.
Oh, yeah, I did tell the story, I think.
Yeah, and then we were like, oh, hey, what's really beautiful to go to? So we went to, do you remember where we went?
It was that island.
Yeah.
Coronado Island.
We went to Coronado Island, which is like literally the picture of beautifulness.
It's so pretty,
right?
yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's like Southern California, beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
So we went there, and Allie and I like live life in Ohio, and it's flat.
We never see that.
And not the ocean, and the sun is just different. It doesn't shine on you the same way.
No.
And we're hanging out at the beach, and I am just sitting there, nearly moved to tears from the beauty of everything. It was like dusk.
Yeah.
It was
You're
gorgeous.
really playing this up.
Sun setting. And I look over, and you two are just staring at your phones. At one phone, actually.
We were looking at my phone.
We're next to each other like this huge beach, and the two of you are just plopped on like a little sand dune, sand pile, staring at one person's phone.
We were looking at Kim Kardashian's Instagram.
And I feel like the entire conversation the whole time we were on the island was Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian family.
Do you remember specifically what you guys were looking at?
We were trying to look at like how she used to look and how she looks now.
Oh yeah.
We were like,
and then I feel like we talked about Rob a little bit.
Yeah. We were like deep in her Instagram, like
you guys were trying to find like
before and after
hints of surgeries done.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I would say she does it pretty well. Some people might disagree, but I think she looks good.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely looks
more
better
normal
now.
Yeah, she doesn't look like overdone. The Kardashians are such a what's the word, polarizing
American
family.
Oh.
They're polarizing. I forget that people straight up hate them because I don't.
Oh yeah.
And I sometimes see people say things that on the internet that are so mean, that are like in my Twitter feed. They're not even like random people. And I don't know, I don't really hate any celebrity. I'm very like, find it entertaining. So that always throws me off when people say like really nasty stuff.
So we like to get into, let's do a special. Let's let this episode last like 5 hours because there's enough to
She has
she has boundaries.
She has boundaries.
That's funny. Okay, so we do like a portion called Celebrity Headlines.
Yes.
Of this podcast. And so in this segment, we like to talk about what celebrity headlines have just caught your eye recently. And then we can kind of like get into it. It also gives me a good opportunity, if I'm not as in tune with some of the celebrity headlines, to like catch up. So I imagine there's a number of people who listen to our podcast who this segment is their sole source of pop culture news, and their lives are probably better than mine because of that. But so I'll go with, let's do Allie first.
Okay, so we'll each talk about
anything new catch your eye about celebrities, stories, any of that stuff.
Well, I did recently see that Rumi Carter was born before Sir Carter, Beyonce's children. So she was born first, the girl. And I also just saw that Ed Sheeran deleted his Twitter after being on Game of Thrones.
He deleted his Twitter?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Which means people were being
He got so much hate.
Yeah, so much hate.
Do you guys watch Game of Thrones?
I've seen the first 5 seasons.
I've caught up, except I haven't seen the new season. That's
I've never watched it.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. It's very entertaining and good and brutal.
And violent.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved it.
I sometimes feel uncomfortable by how much I enjoy it, and then also the amount of brutality that's involved in it.
There are certain scenes of that show that I'll never forget, like because it's a very violent way.
Okay.
But it's also so entertaining. I mean, obviously, people like freak out about it.
If anybody told me it was like, I can't watch that, or I don't think we should watch that as humans, I would understand what they're.
But it is weird that Ed Sheeran's in it. Let's all admit.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, I don't know what the show is about, but like I've seen like snapshots every now and then of it.
It's weird. I think it's weird because as a show, everyone on it is famous now because they're on it, but I heard people say like he takes you out of the fantasy of the show so fast, because if you know who he is, you're like, this doesn't feel like real. Anyways, so those are my 2 headlines that I recently saw.
I think the Rumi thing is interesting. So Vanessa, you'll appreciate this. We were just, before we got on the call with you, we were in a conversation with a client. It was kind of a yoga based thing, and I made some comment about like, oh, people who love yoga just love quotes by Rumi. And then Allie goes, oh.
Rumi Carter?
Beyonce's daughter?
Is she talking already? That's amazing.
Oh my God. I am obsessed with Beyonce.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Good. What about, Vanessa, what about you? Anything
celebrity headline
catch your eye?
Aaron Carter.
Arrested
for DUI, and he looks awful.
So bad. See, you and I are celebrity twins because I just brought that up. I was like, he looks like he's 45.
Yeah. And how old is he really?
He's 29.
Oh my gosh.
Younger than us. How old are you?
Awful.
Are you 29?
I'm 28.
Oh, 28. Never mind. He's a year older. It's
you're
fine.
A child.
No. I hate it when people say that.
Okay, you're not a child. Sorry.
You have a child.
Vanessa, I don't know if you could tell from across the country, but Allie just glared at me when I called you a child, and so I want to formally apologize.
I really hate it when people do that because I feel like they did it to me my whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Carter looks horrible. I heard that I heard that he was like pulled over for like, I mean, obviously being under the influence, but also like marijuana, and I was like, he looks like he's on stuff way harder than that. Yeah.
And then there was like some drama with like him and his brother on like Twitter or something.
Yeah. It was like I think it like Nick. Well, okay, so yeah, I think Nick tweeted to him like, if you ever need anything, let me know, and he was sort of like, if you were like really close with me, you would have just like texted me, basically.
Texted me, right? And then did you see it was like Nick's like wife or something responded and was, or I think she, responded and was like, send me your new number or something.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine being a part of their family? I like can't even imagine. It's just weird. When my brother sent me the picture of Aaron Carter, he, like his mugshot, he also sent like a GIF that was like Aaron Carter with Lizzie McGuire back in the day, and I was just like, it's just sad that like this happens to people, you know?
Yeah.
It's just sad. Okay, Adam, what's your celebrity headline?
Well, thank you for finally getting to me. While you guys were talking, I actually was scrolling through my Twitter feed to try and like get a good...
You didn't have one?
Well, no, I couldn't think of one. Okay. Well, I mean, no, I couldn't think of one. Uh-huh. The Ed Sheeran thing is the only thing that was like in my head.
Impacted you?
So, but the other thing I was going to ask the two of you, so in sports,
okay,
do you guys ever hear about this guy named LaVar Ball?
No.
Nope.
Never?
Is he dating a celebrity?
No, not at all. He is far. No, he's not. He's like the dad of a young NBA player, and he's just like, he's like the. Well, I equate him to the. He's like the. People will hate this. I'm going to do it anyways. He's like, you know how Donald Trump got kind of like a lot of press for just being like loud and saying crazy stuff? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But then he like got so much press that he could just keep being crazy. And then that was the story. Mm-hmm. So like this guy, he played at UCLA. Lonzo Ball is his son who just got drafted to the LA Lakers. Okay. But his dad, his name was LaVar, and he would, like, trash talk everybody. He'd be like, I could beat LeBron in 1-on-1. Like, he would say all this stuff, and it just was stupid. But he was so, like, obnoxious. Yeah. That now he's, like, become his own celebrity. Got it. And so, like, the shoe companies like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, like, wouldn't sign his son to a shoe deal.
Because of him?
Well, he just kind of is, he's like a dumpster fire. It brings
drama, yeah.
But, so they started their own apparel company called Big Baller Brands.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, he's been doing, like, appearances and signings and stuff like that. So he's, like, getting into this thing where,
so he's just, like, a dad?
Yeah, he's just, like, a little dad who's, like, super loud.
Well, I feel like there are a lot of dads who are loud.
No, but he's, like, a new
really
level.
Loud?
Yeah. I said Donald Trump as the example. Like, not everyone is that obnoxious.
True.
Oh, that's
pretty
bad.
Obnoxious, yeah.
Yeah. But it's, like, it's working. He's making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And... freaking
he could be the Kris Jenner of football players' parents. She's not loud, but she's definitely like out there, you know.
Oh no, that's definitely probably also a good analogy. Yeah.
The greatest thing, Vanessa, has been that usually when we record in person, Michael, who works for us, he is the producer. He like records it, makes it all happen, but when we are doing these interviews over Skype, he doesn't have to sit here because we have the headphones on, but he equally as much loves Beyonce, Solange, and Kim Kardashian, which makes, that's kind of why he got hired. So I was like... Yeah.
He needs to be on this episode right now.
He will actually really enjoy editing this because he just... Yeah, it'll make him smile. Yeah. So...
wait, could we bring up one more thing?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can we talk about Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian?
Yeah. So Vanessa and I were texting while this was going down. She texted me while I was sitting at work here.
Any of your clients listening to this right now are like, oh, so you guys aren't so busy.
No. Well, this is a priority. So you texted me, Vanessa, and I literally went to his Instagram from my browser, and I was reading through it. So I thought it was funny at first, but then I was like in a meeting when he was like posting pictures of her and like kind of being horrible. Yeah. And then I got out of my meeting and I was like reading all this stuff and I was like, whoa, like he really went off the rails.
What do you think happened?
He lost his mind.
Yeah.
What do you guys think happened?
I think he needs help. Like, I think he needs actual, like...
Yeah, poor Rob.
I know.
But also, like, I feel kind of bad because he totally put her on blast and, like, shared photos of her.
I know.
And her body.
I know. Like, shouldn't have done that.
No.
Also, sounds like she's kind of a horrible person.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely a horrible person.
Yeah. I think that... So I just watched the episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where Rob is, like, talking to that, like, life coach.
Oh, yeah.
And I was, first of all, like, it seems like every, quote, like, life or health coach that's on the show is, like, you're like, what are these people, like, what are their credentials?
They're just hanging out.
Yeah, they're literally just, like, playing basketball and, like, asking questions.
This is my life coach. We play basketball.
Yeah. And then it was, like,
I should become that.
I know. You should try to become their life coach.
Or just celebrities.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Oh, for sure. No, but I was going to say the other thing was he has, like, an imaginary friend, which I didn't know about. And I was just like, oh, gosh, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I forget his name. It's like...
I can't remember. Can I Google it?
Yeah, Google it. I think it's... Is it Cornelius?
That sounds familiar. It might be. Hold on. Oh, of course, my internet is like...
Because I'm pretty sure I remember Chloe shortening it to corn. If Michael was here right now, he would know.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure it's Cornelius.
It doesn't even say.
I just feel like, isn't it... I don't know. I feel like being famous isn't helping him, you know?
No. I think it ruined his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then I feel bad that it's like still... It's almost like... I don't know.
What?
It's just like pop culture, though, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I always tell people, like the dude I brought up, the, like, obnoxious dad, sports dad, I'm always like, we just need to, like, stop talking about him because he's only, like, interesting because he's famous, and then he's just, it's like rewarding him for being obnoxious.
Right. Yeah, it's Cornelius.
Okay,
good.
It's Cornelius, good. And also when I started typing Rob...
I tried to just stall until you guys got that answer.
When I typed in... When I typed in Rob Kardashian invisible friend, it said Invisalign. So for some reason that comes up as a Google suggestion before invisible
and
friend.
Then like FitTea.
Yeah. FitTea.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even imagine how much money. We decided that they have to, so for those of you who don't know and aren't obsessed with the Kardashians like Vanessa and Michael and I.
For some reason still listening.
And are still listening to my podcast. They rep like a FitTea brand, like fitness tea, like fit. And we always say,
tea, right?
Yeah, Fit Tummy. We always say like they have to be part owners. Like there's no way this brand is like paying them.
Yeah.
To post these horrible pictures. So before we wrap up, I want to ask a few other questions about business and just some of the things that you've learned. Now that...
And we can do this kind of like rapid fire, so we'll go like a little
faster.
Yeah.
What were things that you invested in within the first couple years in your business that paid off? And that could be like software or like massages or like anything.
Best things that you spent money on.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to say my contract. Mm-hmm. That was like a good one.
Yeah.
Hello Sign, which is...
We use that.
I love it. I mean, I think it's like $1 a month.
Yeah, something small. Tell me explain what that is, just in case someone doesn't know.
Hello Sign is a website for you to upload contracts onto so your clients can sign it online.
And it's just like very easy.
And it saves all of your stuff too.
Yep.
Which is key.
Yep, so you can reference.
So you don't have to like keep a printed version in your folder somewhere, file.
I finally had purchased the Dropbox business.
Oh, that's nice.
That is really nice.
Oh my gosh. Always worrying about running out of space on there.
I know. I actually just had to upgrade my Gmail storage. I use Dropbox a lot and we have Basecamp, but I still have really big files that I send via email sometimes. And I was hit my 30 gigs. I had to pay I pay now $2 a month for 30
That's
more gigs.
Insane.
Isn't that crazy? I was like, how did I run out of room?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then I just recently upgraded my computer to a MacBook Pro.
Oh, that's nice.
I had a really slow iMac.
Okay.
Well, I still use it. I use it right now as a monitor for my MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
But that thing is a
You're going to say like
dinosaur.
a baby monitor?
She's like, it's a really big baby
I have
monitor.
like the coolest baby monitor.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like a FaceTime into...
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like Adam, the nights where Adam wants to work longer, he prefers to work at our studio because he has 2 monitors. Like, it helps so much.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I use it right now. Well, actually, I have like my iMac, but I have it plugged into my MacBook Pro. Mm-hmm. And I use the screen on my MacBook Pro as like my Bravo TV.
Oh, yeah. So you can like work and like watch
That's
stuff.
why the double monitors are so key.
Vanessa, I use my iPad Pro to watch TV on while I work.
Yeah.
And it's like definitely
so
made for way cooler stuff than
Like,
watch TV.
Like
Like
17% of Apple's sales are just for people to watch
TV.
Netflix on.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
We just went to a conference. Well, Adam attended a conference in Boise, and I think it's nice too to reference like documents or like client feedback while you're actually doing that work or the revisions. But we definitely find that like Adam's separate display monitor, just like a cheap one, is like a really good investment.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next question. When you find yourself getting tired, running out of energy, burnt out, any of that stuff, what are some things that you do to help you kind of refresh, re-energize?
Good question.
Get your groove back?
I usually, like if I'm feeling not very creative, I'll usually shut down whatever project I'm working on for the day and just like get out of the house, take a walk by the beach. And even just like having a conversation with Aaron about like, because he's a designer too, so
oh yeah,
even just like talking with him about the issues I'm going through, like he's able to kind of, I don't know, be a wall for me to like bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's so key.
Changing context is huge. We
Yeah.
both,
Oh my gosh,
I both find that
from like a larger level of like travel to like actually just going to a coffee shop, I feel like. Okay, well, my last question then is about like the direction that you see your business going in the future. Like, do you want to like have online resources? Do you want to keep designing branding and like focusing on that? Like, share a little bit about your vision. We would hope that you get clients out of this podcast or people that are interested in like your philosophy or your, view
kind of approach to what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, and we haven't really talked about this before, but my friend Jane from Jane Reaction, her and I, we now like live 10 minutes away from each other.
Oh, that's cool.
And for years we've talked about like joining forces and like joining our studios together. It just has not ever been like the right time. And so I just had a baby and she is just about to have her baby in like the next couple weeks. And we've just been, I think, talking more about joining forces again.
Oh, that's cool.
Joining forces and like almost, I guess, creating an agency.
Yeah. And like having like not it just be on one of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we've worked together in the past and I found that we work so well together. Just
that's
like,
so cool.
Even like if she's working on a project and she's having a hard time and I'm like in the same rut, like we'll just switch laptops for like an hour and just
that's amazing.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Work away on each other's projects. And it's just like,
I love
feel
that.
Like I thrive when I'm able to collaborate with other people. And so we've been talking about it more and more and I'm just waiting for her to like have her baby and get to a point where she is ready to go back to work so we can finally like buckle down and do this.
And it's kind of cool that we're just there. Like it's cool that you're patient and like understand that like she'll have her baby. Because I could see if you were in different stages of life, you would not have that sort of like big picture in mind. You know?
Exactly. Before she found out she was pregnant, like, and I was pregnant with Emma, she was constantly like bugging me about like opening up a business together. And I was just kind of like in a phase where I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And so we keep going through these like wavelengths of where she's really into it and I'm not into it, or like I'm really into it and she's not into it. So I just feel like now is like the perfect time after she has her baby.
That's so
To
cool.
like do it.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. You've been like, I think I remember all the way back to when you were referring projects to us, you've always been you've like collaborated well with other people, which I think is
so tightly to like your stuff.
And it's so easy in the design world, or if you're a designer who's kind of all of your work is remotely, it's easy to kind of scroll through other designers' Instagram feeds and get jealous of something they're doing, or you know, to get that competitive vibe. And I would hope if people are thinking about getting into something, you can check yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before you get into that.
I mean, I'm all like, I feel like I write emails like every other month just to other designers who are thinking about making the jump, and just do it. Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, don't do something like super irresponsible, but like
trust yourself, and like surround yourself with people who either can help you out with your, you know, personal life or professional life. Like, I think it's this holistic view of making sure that people care about you and you care about others, and you're not building this job where you're isolated and, you know, like stuck at home without any in-person connection or online connection.
I think even even your story of going to the designer vacay kind of early in your career, or of your doing your own thing, I think is such when you're around other people that make you feel like it's possible.
Yeah.
And doable. Even if they wouldn't, I mean, that actually turned into people referring work to you, but even when it doesn't, sometimes you leave those conversations or those interactions and being like, even if no one's paying me after this, I feel like I have more courage to kind of take it all on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad we got to chat today. I think that, like, it was fun because we've talked about some of these things in person, but these were actual questions.
Yeah, I've never got to, like, hear some of the more...
like, behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, specific things.
Yeah.
I know. And, I mean, this was, like, a super easy conversation to have.
Good.
Like, I'm just talking with my friend.
Exactly.
We just tried to trick you
I've been on podcasts before where I'm, like, my, like, voice is shaking because I'm, like, I don't really know this person, and I'm, like, nervous. So,
We're trying to get her to, like, say bad stuff about Aaron.
No.
Like, so Aaron's like a goofball, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully we get to see you guys soon. Maybe make another trip out there. Hang out. That would be fun. Meet your little baby.
I know. You need to meet Emma.
All of a sudden she'll be like 1. And...
I was thinking more about like taco places we could go, but
tacos
like,
too.
Little baby's great too.
Babies will definitely accompany during taco dates, probably.
Of course.
Definitely. Cool. Well, thanks for chatting, and we'll be sure to put all of your stuff in the...
all the links in the show notes.
Yeah.
And links to all of your stuff, so if people want to kind of stalk you on the internet, they can do that.
Even Jane's stuff, and celebrity headlines, and all of that.
Of course. Well, it was good talking with you guys.
Yeah, you too.